It is 4 a.m. in January and the fire went out 3 hours ago. In houses like this, ink froze on the desk. Water froze in the jug by the bed, and people slept through it for thousands of years. They had no heating we would recognise. So how did anyone live through a winter indoors? 4 moves. The oddest is that they gave up on heating the room. This family stands in for millions of households across the northern world. Start with the building, because the building was the problem. Walls leaked, roofs leaked, windows were shutters or oiled cloth. Glass was for churches and the rich. The floor was earth or stone, and it pulled heat out of everything it touched. And in the middle, an open fire on the floor. No chimney, a hole in the roof, and a lot of smoke. People lived in that smoke. Their eyes streamed, their lungs paid for it. Smoke was what warmth cost. A fire on an open floor warms what faces it and nothing else. One side of you roasted, the other stayed at room temperature. So furniture grew walls. That high-backed settle is a windbreak you sit inside. The rich had the same problem in bigger rooms. Those wall hangings were doing a job. Hung off cold stone, they trap still air. The still air is the warmth. The 4-poster is the same trick. Curtains all round, a room inside the room. They changed into proper night clothes, cap included. You lose real heat through a bare head. The nightcap is working kit. Straw went inside shoes, moss went inside walls. So that is the problem. Now the 4 moves. The first you are wearing right now. Move 1, wear the house. Wool keeps you warm, even when it is wet. The kink in the fibre traps air. The air does the work. So they layered, linen on the skin, wool above, more wool over that. In Iceland and Norway, they built the same idea into the house. Turf walls a metre thick, roofs of living grass, a house buried in the ground. Move 2, share the heat. The first thing they shared it with was livestock. A cow gives off about as much heat as a small heater, all day for nothing. So the beast went at one end, the family at the other. They shared beds as a matter of course, servants with employers, strangers with strangers at inns. Sleeping alone was a luxury. Move 3, shrink the room. In Scotland and Brittany, the bed was a wooden box in the wall with doors that shut. You climbed in, closed the doors, and stopped trying to heat the house. Your body warmed a space the size of a cupboard and managed it easily. In Iran, they had the same idea and made it sociable. The korsi. A low table, a pan of embers under it, a quilt over the lot. Everyone sits with their legs underneath. They eat there, they talk there, they sleep there. The room is freezing and nobody minds. In Japan, the kotatsu, a low table over a sunken hearth under a heavy quilt. Same idea, same answer, worked out on their own, thousands of miles apart. The Dutch made it portable, a box of embers carried to church and tucked under your skirts. In England, a brass pan of coals run between the sheets before you got in, or a stone heated at the fire, wrapped in wool, put at the foot of the bed. Now look at what all of those have in common. Not one of them heats the room. Everyone heats the person, or a space just big enough to hold one. That is the trick. For most of history, nobody trying to warm a house. The idea would have sounded mad. Fuel costs money and heat leaked from every surface, so you warmed what mattered. Heating the air in an empty room is a very new habit and an expensive one. Which brings us to the chimney. and the chimney does not come out of this well. An open fireplace sends most of its heat up the flue. The room gets what is left. The old central hearth was filthy. In heat terms it was better. The smoke stayed in, and so did the warmth. Historians of the period put it plainly. The chimney made English rooms colder. So why did it win? Because it did something warmth could not. It let you build a ceiling, and rooms above, and doors you could shut. The chimney brought privacy, and people wanted that more than heat. The household stopped eating together in one warm hall and spread into small cold rooms. They were colder, and they thought it was progress. In one way, they were right. One more thing, and it's a big one. The Romans had already solved this. The hypocaust, a furnace outside the room, hot air moving under a raised floor. Underfloor heating in the 1st century. We did not match it again for 1800 years. And in Western Europe it went. Not improved on, lost. Not everywhere though. In Korea, the same idea never went away. The ondol runs the kitchen fire under the floor. The floor becomes the heater. Which is why Korean homes are floor-sitting homes. The warmest place was the floor. And that is not history. Underfloor heating is still standard in Korea today. Move 4, and the one that won. Stop burning fuel fast, store the heat instead. The Russian pech is a mountain of brick with a fire chamber buried in it. Burn a hard fire for 2 hours. The brick soaks it up, then gives it back for a day. The top of the stove is flat and warm. The oldest and youngest slept on it. The Alps built the same thing and clad it in tiles. The Katchalofen. It warmed one panelled room, and the family lived in that room all winter. So they built the seating into the stove. You did not sit near the heat, you sat on it. All of it ran on fuel. Firewood was farmed, not found. Where there were no trees, they burned peat, cut and dried through summer. Then coal arrived in quantity, and it changed the sums. Coal burns hotter and longer. A fire in every room became affordable. The cost was the air. London's fogs were 1 million coal fires. Central heating, when it came, was the Roman idea backed by another road. One fire in one place, feeding every room. The hypocaust 18 centuries late. Then came something new, a whole house at one temperature, all winter without anyone thinking about it. So look at your thermostat tonight. You are doing the one thing almost nobody in history could afford, heating rooms with nobody in them. And you still reach for a blanket, because the oldest move still works. Wool, layers, warm feet, and everyone in the room sitting close. Thousands of years on, we still end up under a quilt together. That family in January got through the winter. Wool, a box bed, a cow at the far end, a hot stone at their feet. They were warm enough in the small space that mattered. Which raises the next question. Warm, fed, asleep in a freezing house, and at some point somebody has to get up. That's the next one. It's on screen now.